What percentage of your pre-retirement income should you plan on having in retirement so that you can sustain your same lifestyle? Percentage of income replacement. I'll share an update on that and more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, so how much do you need to have saved up for retirement? Well, that in a way depends on how much you spend. Well, so how do you determine how much you're going to spend in retirement? And that is the big question. We talk all the time that you need a 5-factor retirement plan, and there's these different factors: age and spending and income sources and how much you have saved up and how much risk you're willing to take. Those are the 5 factors, 5 decisions that you need to make that all get blended together. They're interrelated. That determines whether you're on track to retire or not. And so all 5 of those are important. But if you were to ask me, well, is there one that's more important? It's not how much you have saved up, it's how much are you going to spend? I mean, that's the one that really drives the bus. Yes, they're all interrelated, but if there's one that's slightly more important, it's that one. So how do you figure out? How do you figure out in your 50s or early 60s or before you retired? How do you figure out how much you're going to spend? Well, experts have long tried to make this simple for people and long said, just 75%. Or 80%. A lot of times, like if you hear from experts, you see that online, many of them are saying, somewhere between 70 and 90% of whatever your income was while you were working. Guys, that's garbage. That is not, honestly, it is not helpful at all. And as much as how important it is, deciding when to retire and how much to draw out of your investments, I mean, that is an enormously important choice. It's way too flippant to just say, 80% of how much. I mean, you're going to spend 80% of what you were making. That's crazy. Okay, so in that example, if you're making $100,000 while you're at work, then 80% would mean you're going to spend 80 grand in retirement. Guys, that is the wrong approach to take. But to double down on that thinking, JP Morgan actually just came out with a more precise way of analyzing what percentage of your pre-retirement income you should plan on spending in retirement. So take a look at this. Basically, in premise, they're saying the lower your income is pre-retirement, the bigger percentage, the higher percentage replacement you're going to need in retirement. Okay, that's the gist of it. So in this paragraph here, they're saying if your household has $300,000 of income before you retire, you'll only need about 72% of that as income in retirement in order to maintain your same standard of living. However, if pre-retirement you only make 50 grand, you're going to need about 94% of that to live on, okay? If we go a little bit further into their research, they've got it broken down pretty specifically. Households making between 80 and 150 grand should plan on having their income between 89% and 80% of their pre-retirement income. And if those that are making 150 to 300, that 70th percentile, okay, should plan on 70% or so. They've even got it broken down by tens of thousands. Okay, so let's say $60,000 in pre-retirement income. Your income replacement should be 93%. Okay, if you're making $100,000 pre-retirement, the income replacement they're saying is 86%. That's the easy math. So if you make 100 grand pre-retirement, they're saying you'll be spending 86 grand in retirement. Okay, but take a look. I mean, 200,000 pre-retirement income, you should have 76% replacement of that income. That should be your income. That will be your expenses. Is basically what they're saying in retirement. It's interesting to think about. And might be helpful as part of all of your planning, but here's why that alone doesn't work. Number one, taxes in retirement are extremely different, okay? And this is just taking a look at, well, here's what your income was while you were working when taxes were full and blah, blah, blah. And then when you retire, you only need this percentage. Well, first of all, taxes are going to be very different. You can take 7.65% of FICA right off the table. okay, right off the table, which is interesting that they've got some of these income numbers where your replacement should be, 96%, something like that. How's that possible? FICA alone is 7.65%, and there's no FICA in retirement. There's no FICA on your Social Security. There's no FICA on dividends and interest. There's no FICA on pensions. There's no FICA on investment withdrawals, IRA withdrawals, Roth IRA withdrawals, 401k withdrawals. So immediately, taxes are going to be different because there's going to be no FICA. Second, Social Security is going to be a decent chunk, or a chunk of most people, I would assume, their retirement income. Well, not all of your Social Security will be taxed at the federal level. Some of you won't have it taxed at all, okay? And most states, the vast majority of states, don't tax Social Security at all, okay? In Michigan, Indiana, where our offices are, they don't tax Social Security. So right there, that's going to save you another 5% as well, okay? And then if your income, if your spending need is lower and your incomes are lower, then ultimately your tax bracket might be lower. And so in just many ways, your taxes are going to be very different. Therefore, it's a fallacy to look at, well, here's how much you were making while you were working, and then here, therefore, is the percentage of that you're going to need in retirement. Number one, taxes are very different. Number two, health insurance is very different, okay? So whatever that gross salary was, somehow you were paying likely some of your health insurance and your employer was paying some of your health insurance. That's not how it works in retirement. It's not. You're going to have to pay for Medicare. What if you retire before Medicare, right? And you've got lots of choices between traditional Medicare or Medicare Part C. Those decisions, because health insurance is so crucial and so different in retirement, it's just impossible to say, well, just look at a percentage, just replace a percentage of your income and you'll be fine. Now, health insurance is extremely different. So your spending needs also change in retirement. Are you going to have big trips? I spend more money on Saturdays than I do on Tuesdays. Why? Because on Tuesday, I'm at the office. On Saturday, I'm not. And so when you retire and all of a sudden you've got 6 Saturdays and a Sunday, you could spend more money. You've got to analyze that and what are the big trips that you have, okay? And then lastly, this does not take into account how much of your income you're actually saving. Think about this, okay? If your income, if you've been listening to the Wise Money Show or other financial professionals and for your entire life you save 15% of your paycheck, why would you do the math and assume that you need to spend 17% of your pre-retirement income? Because you don't spend that now. You're saving 15% to 401k. What if you're saving for a Roth IRA? What if you're saving up for kids' college or something like that? And in retirement, obviously the kids are going to be out of school. So it's not as easy. There's way too much going on, way too many variables to take the simple approach and say, well, this is how much you were making, i.e. spending when you're working, and therefore just take a percentage of that, 76%, 93%, whatever it is, and assume that's how much you're going to spend in retirement. That's not how life actually works. So what's the better approach? The better approach I already mentioned is figure this out within a 5-factor retirement plan. But as far as spending, start with your take-home. Start with your take-home pay, because that's going to neutralize FICA, neutralize taxes, neutralize health insurance, all that sort of stuff. Start with your take-home pay, all right? And then add on any new expenses you will expect in retirement, like health insurance, and that's when you talk through with your CFP, traditional Medicare or Medicare Part C. So you'll add on some health insurance, you'll add on some vacation, you'll add on taxes, okay? You start with take home and then you add on new expenses. Then you subtract expenses that won't be there. Yeah, we're going to have the mortgage paid off by retirement. Yeah, we're not going to save up into our Roth while we're retired because we won't have any earned income, right? We're not safe, blah, blah, blah. So you start with your take-home income, you add in new expenses, and you subtract out expenses that are going to be aren't going to be there in retirement. That gives you a better picture of what your actual lifestyle is going to be. Once you get that number, maybe increase it just a little bit, give yourself a little margin, give yourself a little cushion from there. That's a better number. Is it perfect and will it apply for everyone's situation? No, but that's a better starting point than just taking a look and taking, 86% of your pre-retirement income. That's not even close. If your pre-retirement income, if you're saving 15% towards 401k, then you've got FICA that comes off of that. 86% is not even close, okay? This will be a better starting point for you. Work with your CFP on that, And it's also something that will adjust because your take home will change over time based on how much you're saving to your 401k and all that sort of stuff. So work with your CFP on that. Dial in. What do you expect to spend in retirement? That is the most important factor of the 5 factors in your retirement plan. So work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K. WiseMoneyShow.com. You can find us there as well. Or send us an email, info@Korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.